This will be the fourth and final race in this series of mass starts that started all the way back in October. Again, you take your best 3 out of 4 with the converted point totals: 60 points for first place, 54 for second, 48 for third, and so on. And Jordan Stolz, 174 points. He has comfortably locked up the Olympic Trials Championship, and he has already qualified for the Olympics because he was pre-qualified coming in. The only other two that could grab that second spot are Ethan Cepuran and Casey Dawson. And here's how it works. If Cepuran wins, he's in. If he's second and he's ahead of Dawson, he's in. And if Dawson finishes third or worse, Cepuran's in no matter where he finishes. For Casey Dawson, that means you got to win or you got to finish second, but ahead of Ethan Cepuran. That's how Casey Dawson grabs this spot. It's so interesting because they're two teammates who train together every day, two really good friends, two integral parts of the world record holding men's team pursuit squad. And Dawson doesn't skate the mass start all that much. Cepuran's been skating it all year.
He doesn't skate it that much, and in fact, Dawson's already qualified in the 5,000 meters, 1,500 meters. He is the lead skater on the team pursuit for the U.S. team. And my guess is that Casey Dawson would like to see Ethan Cepuran make this squad in this team on the mass start.
You know, we saw Ethan Cepuran celebrate at the end of that first race, which makes you feel a little bit like that was all part of the team plan there, because coming into today, Carl Platt, who trains here in Milwaukee with Jordan Stolz, also had a chance to make the team, but by Cepuran finishing ahead of Platt, that eliminated him from contention for one of those spots.
That's right. We saw some real team skating in that earlier event, 16 laps around the 400-meter oval. And this is an event that's all about tactics, it's all about strategy, it's all about making sure that your preferred skater is protected. You know, have skaters that are domestiques like you do in cycling.
Yeah, Jordan Stolz took that domestique role on in that first mass start. He was trying to help his training partner and friend, Carl Platt. What do you expect to see from him here now that Platt can't make the Olympic team, but also that there's really not a whole lot to gain here for Jordan Stolz? What does it tell you about maybe how much better he's feeling today than yesterday, that he's skating both legs of this mass start today?
Yeah, you know, it's hard to figure exactly because he's a little bit of an obelisk when you're looking at it. Hard to figure out what he's thinking there. But I'll tell you this, the kid loves racing. He loves getting out on the field. He probably would love to see his friend and teammate get a position.
And that's Carl Platt that you see on your screen right now, 21-year-old training partner and friend of Jordan Stolz.
I'm sure he'd love to see him get a win here at the Olympic trials, if possible. But I expect we're going to see a lot of back and forth, and I expect we'll see that team of Ethan Cepuran, Casey Dawson, and Emery Lehman continuing to work to protect number 22 right there, Ethan Cepuran.
And I think that word team is so important here because speed skating is not a sport where you often think about team. But that U.S. team pursuit, which again is the team race that features Casey Dawson, Emery Lehman, and Ethan Cepuran, and has revolutionized that race. They're the gold medal favorites in the Olympics. They have embraced the team mentality more than any other speed skaters we've been around. They train together, they spend time together, they play fantasy football together, and everything they've done has been based on that trio, that team, trying to win Olympic gold in the team pursuit. 16 laps, but remember that first lap is a neutral lap. You'll hear another gun afterwards, and we saw in the women's mass start earlier, if you go and accelerate before that second gun, you're disqualified. It cost Georgia Birkeland, so everyone's got to be careful here.
Yeah, and it's not a mistake that you see very often because the penalty is so severe. Now, Jordan Stolz is wearing number 21. He's in the lead of this field. It'll look very slow for this first lap. Everyone's sort of getting situated, settling into position. You'll hear another gunfire at the midpoint, back on the home stretch.
Yeah, you've compared this to a cycling race. It's also been compared to a NASCAR race. So think of it like you got the pace car on the track for this first lap. They got to pull off the track, and when that gun goes off, that's when you can go.
That's exactly right.
Looks like we have had an early acceleration here. That's Michael Hubbs, the 43-year-old who went out in front of everybody else, and now we've heard the gun as Jordan Stolz leads the rest of the pack.
I think that's almost certainly going to be a disqualification. And now the race is officially underway.
It's where you start to see some early breakaways, particularly maybe in this fourth and final one from young athletes who are looking to make a splash, get out in front, try to go away, and while everybody else plays games behind, maybe they forget about him out there and don't catch up with him. Finn Siebert has moved out toward the front too.
Yeah, and what matters here is the final finish in terms of the points, because Ethan Cepuran wants to make sure he's on the team and wants to make sure that he's in a position to represent the United States in this distance. His teammates Emery Lehman, Casey Dawson would like to see him representing the United States in this event.
Finn Siebert has moved into the leading spot. Jonathan Tobon has broken away a bit as well. Kellen Dunphy is leading that chase pack. Dunphy also trains out in Salt Lake City with the national team, coached by Gabriel Gerard, who coaches this trio of Dawson, Lehman, and Cepuran.
Yep, and you hear a bell being rung there. That's a preem lap. They run a series of internal sprints within this race that dole out a few little points. That can affect fourth and down, but it doesn't affect the final position. Unless, of course, you get someone like Finn Siebert who gets away and then also crosses the line at the end of the 16 laps in first. But these early preem laps, they only matter for jostling the points at the end of the event.
That's why usually in championship races you don't see big sprints for these intermediates. It's much more valuable when you're during the regular season or the World Cup, where it might be the difference in World Cup ranking points. But here, top three, they'll be decided by the first three across the line. Siebert continues to lead here, and now he has decided to stand up.
That's right. He decided it wasn't worth the effort, and that's probably the smart move. It is almost impossible to be able to make it up front and hold off the peloton for the entire event.
Emery Lehman has moved right up toward the front of the pack. If this group from Salt Lake, the Team Pursuit squad, follows the script they did in the last race, it was Lehman who made the first hard move to try to open the race up a bit. Ian Frederick's also given a little bit of an effort on the front, wearing cap number 27. So Frederick ahead of Lehman here.
Yeah, that's right. And you see Emery Lehman there. We're going to try and call out the numbers to keep it some sort of order there on the helmets, because it's so tough with all of these skaters out there in the USA skin suit. It's really difficult to be able to figure out who's who. So we're tracking those numbers. Emery Lehman sitting in the second position of that peloton, and then it's number 25.
Platt and Stolz, the other two that have made the early moves. So it's Frederick Lehman, Carl Platt, and Jordan Stolz, and that forced a response from Ethan Cepuran and Casey Dawson, who are trying to attach themselves to the back, and now we have a lead six, and this is where the race is going to be decided here.
That's right, and you see that pack of six. Look how easy it is. 22-24, that's Ethan Cepuran and Casey Dawson sitting in fifth and sixth in that pack. You see how effortless it looks when they're skating. They're in that draft. When these guys are trucking along here about 30 miles an hour, it's almost effortless to be able to tuck in there and just get pulled along by the draft.
We're past the midway point of this race, and Joey, it's funny you mention effortless, because we talked to Jordan Stolz coach Bob Corby. This is the first year Jordan was really skating a lot of mass starts, and they were trying to hide just how effective he would be in these races, so he had tried not to win the first few. The most recent World Cup in Hamar, Norway, he ended up going away with a win, and afterwards, Bob Corby says, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm sorry, it was just too easy."
He finished that last lap of that World Cup win in 25.0, which is just an insanely fast lap. It's a lap you'd see in a 500 meters, and he did it at the end of 16.
Now Dawson goes to the front. Does this tell you a little bit more about the team strategy here? You'd imagine if Dawson was looking for the powerful sprint at the end, he probably wouldn't be leading here, right, with 7 laps to go?
That's my guess, but he led from the front early on in race number 3. That was earlier today, and he held off the whole pack the entire time. My guess is that the men's team pursuit team, led by Casey Dawson, who's in front right there, wants to see Ethan Cepuran make the team, and the way that that happens is by keeping the pace fast. We see Dawson up front driving the pace. We see Emery Lehman sitting there in third. He is the other engine of this driver, trying to keep the pace up fast, because if it comes down to a field sprint, Ethan Cepuran, he wouldn't be able to take down Jordan Stolz, but Jordan Stolz is already on the team. Ethan Cepuran will take down anyone else in this field in a field sprint. So if they keep the pace up, then he'll be in a great position.
Again, Jordan Stolz has already qualified in the men's mass start. Ethan Cepuran qualifies with a win, with a second place finish ahead of Casey Dawson, or if Casey Dawson finishes third or worse, Casey Dawson needs to win or finish second and ahead of Cepuran if he wants the mass start spot. But Dawson continues to lead, which means he's doing the extra work here. He's not enjoying the benefits of the draft that all those athletes behind him are.
we are trying a bit to put ourselves in the heads of skaters, and we're not entirely sure what they're up to. We could also see Dawson just think, hey, I want to take this thing. I want to go out there and represent the U.S. in the mass start, and he's in a position if he can stay ahead of his teammate Ethan Cepuran.
Dawson already on Team USA in the 1500 and the 5000, where he is a serious medal contender in the 5000. Picked up the U.S.'s first win on the World Cup in the 5000 meters in 20 years earlier this year in Calgary. Jordan Stolz in a perfect spot to win this race as well, tucked into second in the moment, and he's got by far the best sprint of anyone in this group. There's 3 laps to go in this race.
It's Dawson, Stolz, Emery Lehman. Sitting in 5th place in this pack is Ethan Cepuran, who is right now sitting in the Olympic qualifying position point total.
Casey Dawson has led the last 5 laps. At some point, the pace is going to pick up here. That point is now. Jordan Stolz makes an inside pass, and he has turned on the accelerator. Dawson not matching it, so that means he's willing to cede some ground here.
And with the speed from Stolz, look at that 25.86. Now, this isn't a time trial, but a lap like that is something you'd see on the first lap of 1,000 for most skaters. No one in this field will catch Jordan Stolz. He is gone. And this is the kind of strategy that we might see from Jordan Stolz in Milan. He has so much top speed that no one will be able to take him. Now, what matters is the battle for the second position. These skaters are trying to earn an Olympic berth. There's only 2 available.
Ethan Cepuran's going. Casey Dawson isn't. This could be the Olympic-defining move for Cepuran. Cepuran is broken away from the pack. He's in second. Here's Jordan Stolz around the bend in first. He may be in a training block. He may be dealing with a head cold. But Jordan Stolz is going to close this Olympic trials by sending an emphatic message. He wins going away in the mass start. And Ethan Cepuran pumps the fist, finishing second and earning his spot to Milan as well. Casey Dawson takes third and will finish third in the overall standings. We just saw how Jordan Stolz can win this race in Milan right there, Joey.
Bill, there's so much hype around Jordan Stolz. There's so much consternation from other countries about how they're going to try and beat him in all these races that he's favored in. I don't think we've really seen yet at this Olympic trial Stolz open it up like he's capable of, like we see when he's at World Cup and World Championship competitions until this race. You saw that speed, and frankly, he had more to go. That wasn't his top speed in this race, and it's just blistering. When he decided to end this race, he was gone. And that is what makes him so impressive, is even in 16 laps, he's going to have the fastest lap we've ever seen in the mass start event.
If you're a cycling fan, he's a big fan of Tadej Pogacar, who's won so many recent Tour de France's. And Stolz has said on a bike, he can't hold the wattage that Pogacar can produce, but he can get to a higher wattage, and you saw it here when he moved away with his power.
And look at that drop down. It started the front of the corner. You see the tempo start picking up in his foot speed. This is effortless. He's not even trying. He's just pumping one arm, coming across the line. He had a whole nother 7-8 tenths of a second.
Look at Casey Dawson celebrating Ethan Cepuran. So we see the plan here. This is how the U.S. Team Pursuit Squad wanted to get it done all day. In the first race, they took care of Carl Platt. In the second race, Cepuran seals the deal.
I guarantee that the men's Team Pursuit team, these guys have worked for years on that Team Pursuit. There's Cepuran waving to the crowd. His family is here. His dad is here. His brother's here watching and cheering him on. He will be competing in Milan in this distance. And I'll tell you what, he's a great wingman for Jordan Stolz in this race. He's got a good motor. He can chase down brakes so Jordan won't have to.
Jordan Stolz. That's a heck of a way to close out the Olympic trials. Now it's on to Milan for the superstar from Wisconsin.